Hey folks, JP here. I am in Chalmette, Louisiana, and I want to show you why spray foam does not keep bees in or out of a structure. Let me show you what we got here. The situation is there's a new tenant. This is a rental property. They've been here about a month, I think, or two. When they moved in, the bees were here. The previous tenant did not inform the landlord the building had bees, is what I'm being told. But I want to show you a few things. All right. I think somebody's been fighting these bees, folks. What do you think? See all this spray foam? And well, you got different colors. There's some new stuff. There's some older stuff. All right. And it goes all the way down this side. Okay. So, what I'm getting at is, was there another hive somewhere in this wall? Somewhere? We're not opening any bricks up today. I'm going to be doing this from the inside. The interior wall, in this case, I believe it's an exterior paneling. Bees should be between the exterior paneling and the soundboard, if they have soundboard. Given time and given crazy circumstances where people have been trying to do a little bit of this and that to try to deal with the bee situation, they could move in that space between the brick and the soundboard. If it's wide enough to where they can build two comb sections, you could have brood there. But it's been my experience so far that that space is usually just big enough for them to build one comb section. It's usually honeycomb. I don't believe I've ever seen comb between brick and soundboard that had pollen in it or anything but honey. So you let me know if you've run across that. Worst case scenario would be that, there's comb on the brick here and it wraps around this corner and goes back this way. So, we really don't know what we have here. I'm going in this with the possibility that there could be more hives than what meets the eye. These bees are a little bit on edge, so I'm gonna have to definitely smoke them a little bit. They actually have found Africanized bees in this town. Been a couple of documented cases. Let me give you a close up again. All this foam, you can see they chewed a hole right through that. Somebody sprayed a gob of foam to try to do something. Keep them in or keep them out. I don't know what the history is on this. See, they just chew right through that spray foam. And look, this stuff's ugly. I mean, it's terrible. Don't use that to seal up anything. I use a product called Dynaflex 230. You can use silicone. You can use something like liquid nail if you want. If you got really big gaps, I recommend using a backing, like stuff that it's a copper mesh material or backer rod, anything, steel wool, and then you could caulk over it. But don't do that. That's just nasty. And it doesn't work. Okay? All right, I just got my first sting. Just walking past that corner. So the next thing I'll do is smoke these bees. First sting, there she goes. A lot of times I'm going to show you bees after they sting you, they'll try to bite you. Let me show you what she's doing. See, she'll try to dig in with her mandibles. And because she doesn't have a sting anymore, I guess she knows it. But she's going to try to bite you. She'll, try to do everything she can, to let you know, you suck. All right. Let's smoke them. Let's say they got an entrance right here. Get them a good wake-up call. We want to adjust their attitude for sure. I want them to know who's boss, folks. See? I don't just do like that. I'm going to get up in there, too. That piece of trim was coming off because of rot and maybe a little termite damage. Building definitely needs a little TLC. I don't think you'd argue with me on that one, huh, folks? Hello, girls. All right, folks, maybe, well, I'm not going to say anything to jinx myself, but, I don't know what's there, so that's the thing. But, there's no soundboard, so maybe, some hive had been removed from here before or something. Maybe the previous guy cut the soundboard out and, didn't put any back, I don't know, but let's open this up. Alright, let's see what we got here, folks. Healthy colony, no soundboard. What we're hoping is that's it, and they haven't gone into the side wall over to the left. Someone left a knife in the wall. You can see they've built comb on both sides of that 2x4. We're really hoping that there's nothing to the left of what we're seeing now. So without further ado, let's tackle this thing, folks. I get feedback a lot of times from people starting out doing bee removals for the first time, and they're surprised that these removals take so long. Just vacuuming bees alone, you could spend 3-4 hours even just vacuuming bees before you even pull any comb sections. Remember, these videos are a very condensed version of the actual process. If you believe you're going to be able to remove a beehive like this in like a few hours, you're going to be gravely disappointed. Vacuuming bees can at times get monotonous. It's almost like cutting the grass. One pass, 2 passes, 3 rows, 4 rows, 5 rows. It does get monotonous at times. And but it's a necessary thing. A good bee vac, of course, will save the majority of the bees. Sometimes they do get stressed, and you do have some casualties. I'm asked that question all the time. Well, does the bee vac kill the bees? No, it does not. Not a good one. A good bee vac saves the vast majority of the bees. Let's see what's hiding behind door number 1, folks.
We've been exposed. Save us, JP. Save us, JP.
This little piece right here is the last piece of comb that they built. They can build a little piece like that overnight, and that's a true story. For those of you not really familiar with honeybees and their biology and how they build their hives, you'll notice that the comb sections are built individually, and that allows the bees to travel in between the comb sections. It's also what we call bee space. Bee space is that space between the comb sections and a feral colony, and also the space between the frames of a domestic setup one would keep bees in. So you can see this is definitely a process. A lot of people have this idea that you open up the wall, whatever it is, and you're just going to pull out this entire nest all in one piece, like a hornet's nest depicted in Winnie the Pooh. Because it's made up of individual comb sections, it's a process, and the comb sections have to be removed section by section. No, I'm not even going to try this honey, folks, and I'm going to tell you why a little bit later on in the video. Alright, let's go ahead and speed things up a bit. Slow it down. Alright, let's see what's behind door number 2, folks. Alright, no comb on the brick. That's fantastic. I have scraped honeycomb off a brick countless times before. It's a real pain in the you-know-what. So I'm glad there's no comb on the brick, at least in that section right there. Who knows what we'll discover once we pull all the comb out in that main section on the left there. Hopefully it's not a big mess, but it is what it is, and we're going to get it done one way or another, folks. Give y'all a little close up. So they did build comb on this brick on the section on the left, folks. Things about to get real interesting. Let's tackle that left side now. That's a pretty comb section. lot of captive worker brood. What you want, it takes 3 weeks for a young worker to hatch out of her cell, 24 days for drones to hatch out, 16 days for a new queen to hatch out of her cell. Sometimes you notice I take my vacuum hose tip, the little conical tip, and I'll put it parallel to the comb sections. What that does, vacuums the bees off the comb sections without sucking up any honey, which you really want to try to do your best to avoid doing. That glistening that you're seeing is nectar that has not been cured into honey yet. In case you're wondering, that yellow stuff on the left, that's pollen. Bees will mix pollen and nectar and make what's called bee bread, and that's what the young bees feed on and allows them to manufacture royal jelly, which is the diet that the queen has fed her entire life. Pollen offers protein to bees and minerals and vitamins. Honey offers carbohydrates in the form of sugars, primarily in the form of fructose and glucose. Honey is a liquid, but it's oversaturated with sugars, which tends to make honey crystallize. Crystallization is a natural process when you buy honey and it crystallizes. It's not that it went bad, it's that the sugars just granulated. It still can be consumed in that form. Of course, it'll dissolve in warm liquids like coffee or hot tea, but also if you want to try to reliquefy the honey, you could place the bottle in a pot of hot but not boiling water, because you don't want to overheat honey. It can ruin the chemistry and all of its wonderful natural goodness. Now this is a really beautiful chunk of honey, and I would really love to either harvest it or feed it back to the bees. But I'll tell you why in a little bit, why we're not going to do that. Another really nice brood comb section, and you might be thinking, frame that up. But again, a little bit later on, I'll tell you why we're not going to frame up any comb sections and why we're not going to harvest it or feed any honey back to the bees. I'll explain all that in just a little bit. Just another little close-up to show you our progress, folks. We're moving right along with this thing. Another beautiful chunk of honeycomb, folks. I just had someone remark in one of my videos, what is honey? Why do they put it there? It is their primary food source, folks. That's what honey is. That's why bees make honey. Alright, this is what's left of the hive, or is it? Will we have more comb behind that felt paper? Well, that's yet to be determined. Of course, the unknown is what is going on the left side of the area we have open. Do they have more hive in that side wall? Well, it looks like we lucked out, folks. This is all the comb except for that one little piece that's left. And it does not appear that the bees went into that next section over to the left. That is a beautiful thing. Now we just have to get what's left out and maybe do a little bit of cleanup. Let me show you some of the openings that are between the bricks, folks. there's mortar missing. That's why these bees were able to get into this wall. You see that daylight? They really need a brick mason at this point to tighten things up, folks, because if they don't remortar this brick wall properly, mark my words, this building will get bees again. Alright, folks, we're pretty much done with this. A lot of, gaps and stuff in the wall, and so sometimes I was vacuuming up bees blindly, so I think I vacuumed her up because I never did run across her. But I'll do a little close-up. I'll show you what's going on with this box right here. See how they're landing on the box, folks? Sometimes when you're done, you put your catch box aside and the stragglers coming in will start landing on your catch box. And sometimes the queen will land right on top of the box if you didn't vacuum her up, of course. But I think she's probably in there. Or I think she'd be on the outside right now. They're definitely digging the box. There's a decent little bit in there. I'm guessing, I don't know, maybe 4.5 pounds of bees. What is that, like, 13,500 bees, somewhere in there. Anyway, I think she's in there. I really do. And we'll know in a couple days. There's something else I wanted to mention to you. I didn't frame up any of the comb on this one. And I'm going to tell you why. And I didn't even try any of the honey. I'm going to tell you why. Because the tenant said he probably used $100 worth of chemicals to try to kill these bees. So even though they look healthy, and I don't think he really got anything in there, I'm not taking any chances, you know what I mean? So we'll set them up on some new stuff. I can give them a frame with a growing comb, and we'll give them a little honey, maybe feed them a little sugar water if we need to, and get them to the next flow, which should be golden rain trees and then goldenrod. All right, that'll do it for this one. The bees were not Africanized. So after I puffed them a little bit, they calmed right down. I got 2 stings the whole day. So hope y'all enjoyed it. Another one from JPthebeeman. Hope you're having a great day, because you know I am. See you on the next one. See her? Right here? See her?
No.
Right here.
Put your finger again?
Right here. See her?
Okay.
You got her?
Yes.
Alright, folks, there she is. There's our queen. And she's just rummaging around looking for a cell to lay in. You got her in there good?
Yes.